waiting on news of that Patriots running back.
Oh wow, we're talking about football?
No, we're not. But that's something I have to deal with. I mean, it's supposed to come out like pretty soon, right?
I mean, it should be out any minute. I don't have the official news on that yet. I am actually not treating it as if I came up with a couple lineups that it didn't matter for me.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't play a ton either on it, so I don't want to exaggerate.
No, I didn't play a ton, but I still played lineups, and I want to make sure that I do it right.
Sure, no, I understand it. I just to get football out of the way real quick, I guess, because we getting baseball and stuff. I mean, my personal builds were just. I actually just thought of got some with McKenzie in the captain spot, and then just going for everything else afterwards. I like James White instead as a running back, whether or not it doesn't matter to me whether or not what's his name plays or not, because I think that you're going to see them coming from behind. So I think you're going to see more passing and then using James White out of the backfield.
Yeah, I had like 80% McKenzie.
Yeah. I just think that I didn't play that many lineups, but what I did play, and some of them are pretty big buy-ins, I did like him quite a bit.
Yeah. So with respect to the NBA, I mean, we're still waiting on AD. I mean, not on AD, on LeBron. I've been operating on the assumption he's not playing.
It's sad for you that not sad for you. It's too bad you're not going to be there, because I think that I do think that the best case scenario is that LeBron gets announced out after. And right. I'm playing under the assumption that LeBron maybe he doesn't play. And even whether he does or doesn't, I just think there's enough value in playing Davis at low ownership on both sites. I have in my 3 big lineups between both sites, I'm down to 1 James Harden. I really would like to be below the field on Karis LeVert also, but I'm going to be for the long shot tournaments, but I just can't seem to get away from him in most of my big builds. Although I have one build where I have like a Donovan Mitchell, Shea lineup in my big buy-in on DraftKings that I was able to get rid of him on. So it's really, really hard to want to fade him and justify it, but I'm willing to take a shot in doing that. And literally you're just hoping. You're hoping the game gets a little bit ugly, that Memphis controls it early. It's just a really tough fade. I don't feel good about it. Let's put it that way.
Come on. This is GPP. I got no problem fading that.
Absolutely. No, I mean, hey, this is how we win things sometimes. I do want to bring up one weird thing I've got. I've got a build that I love on FanDuel that ends up with Jared Allen as my center.
Okay.
Now, not just because he got me second place the other night, or anything like that. I think there's still a path that they really limit the minutes of DeAndre Jordan. There's also potential foul trouble and against a guy like Valanciunas, and a team that plays fairly big in Memphis with Valanciunas out there. Jared Allen could end up, maybe he get that 25 minutes turns into 28. It's a good up pace matchup for a team that likes to attack the basket, and the shot blocking upside is extremely high. So I'm thinking about taking that shot in the 555. It feels kind of weird, but I actually feel like I'm pretty into it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. It's fine with me.
Go ahead.
I have a little bit too much of a lot of guys and a little too little of others. FanDuel, I feel myself a little on the chalkier side. But on DraftKings, not as much. Like, by the way, who I played a little bit on FanDuel? I really want to fade all those shooting guards. I played your Memphis rookie, your Bane.
Oh, wow. I'm not even doing that, but I'm happy that you are.
I played a little of that. And on DraftKings, I have 40% LeVert on FanDuel, which I guess is under the field, if you think about it. On DraftKings, I don't have a share of him. So we'll see what happens.
I love it. He's not in my main lineup on DraftKings. I don't feel great about it personally. I still like to do a little bit of tinkering on mine because I like the Shea versus Mitchell possibility. I also think that game is potential blowout risk too. So that, it's just, people would say everybody feel good about their lineups. I think this is not that slate where everyone feels good about their lineups, because I feel like in order to get different, you have to make some uncomfortable decisions.
Where are we at with Gallinari?
He's out.
He's officially out?
Yeah, just got announced a little bit ago.
Okay. I actually had one lineup with him in. Just literally one lineup, so I got to make sure I get rid of that one. Yeah,
it's man, I'm telling you, I need exactly 5,700 for a center on FanDuel, and I ended up stuck with this. So basically, I mean, just to go, I guess, get into it a little bit.
Yeah.
the things that I'm doing, and then throw at me what you're doing. I am playing Levert in both my big buy-ins on FanDuel, but I'm well below the field in all my other tournaments. I'm playing Turay and Prince instead of Harris mostly on FanDuel. I feel like there's multiple ways that works for you, that could work for you. And I like Turay and Prince a ton on DraftKings personally. And we don't have a starting lineup yet, but I still think he's going to get a good amount of run no matter what with all these guys gone. It's hard for me to see how he doesn't exactly. I also thought that Jared Allen, his upside, even though they're different positions, like Kevin Durant, anybody who can, any extra rebound to get, anything that's extra to get me to a guy who no one's going to play is sort of what I'm looking at. And the thing I was just debating between was Jared Allen and Al Horford, and I just decided that Jared Allen's upside is a little too high on FanDuel. That sounds really uncomfortable, and I actually think Plumlee, if you can afford him at 300 more, is obviously a better play. But I can't afford him with the build that I have right now that I like too much.
Well, I'm gonna have a pretty shitty day today. Because on DraftKings, I don't have a single share of Levert, and on between DraftKings and FanDuel combined, I don't have a share of Harden. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun.
I love it, man. I mean, hey, you know what? We got to get different to do somehow to do these things. Yeah, so I decided to only play Harden and Wood or Wood, I should say, on FanDuel. The only way I'm playing them is together. I know that's popular, whatever. But I'm playing those with Jamal Murray just because it makes some sense to me. And then it leaves me in a weird spot because I wanted to play Levert. I still do prefer Covington at power forward, but I think that, Kuzma and Covington, I like both of those guys at the cheaper prices on power forward, but I can't seem to get where I want to be without doing things exactly the way that I'm doing them. So that's what I'm debating over right now.
And the other thing, which you're not going to like, I don't know if you're not going to like, but I know your friend Jack will like it. I have almost every lineup with Dame on FanDuel.
Would you say you have almost every lineup with Dame?
Yeah, on FanDuel.
I totally with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Just the way it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Dame, Ja, and Lillard. I'm sorry, Dame, Ja, and Trae Young. So I don't really have a whole lot different.
Okay, perfect.
I did throw Killian Hayes into a couple lineups. I don't love it, but I just think that do you play we don't really know it's a great matchup. They might give him a little bit of minutes boost. I'm not saying you're getting way off the board, but I just when you're debating guys like him and Joe Harris, the more I thought about it, I just don't see Joe Harris getting any kind of a bump here. Sure, they need to make shots, but he's the one I'm sort of more okay doing without.
I have a full solid 2% of Killian Hayes on FanDuel. Just a strong 2%. So
I have him in more long shot stuff. Well, look at this. This is great. We got people in chat. We got Jack in chat winning 247. A good man. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for defending us. This other dude is kind of going off. Said we cost him $5,000 last week. Well, sorry you feel that way. We try to do our best, and you know what? We can't all be our fault, I guess.
That's really funny. I didn't even know that you were on here, Jack, when I mentioned my Lillard love. It's so funny. I was so when Kyrie got ruled out, that was I knew that's where I would end up. And the good thing is I'm not going to be dead for several hours, right?
Right.
So we're in good shape. So who has the issue here? So Todd, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Sorry I cost you 5,000. And yeah, you got to get better advice, man. You can't roll with people that just keep costing you 5,000. That'll turn you broke pretty quickly.
There's a few things that I think are kind of interesting and just worth noting. I still am speculating that there's a chance Marc Gasol sits, and obviously you can't play Harrell on DraftKings, but I do think you can play him on FanDuel. It's a funny thing between him and Plumlee in that same range that, I don't think anybody's going to play Montrezl Harrell. If there really is no Gasol, that's a team that likes to, Portland plays big. So Harrell out there for a bunch of minutes against a fast-paced team that sort of will give up a lot of offensive boards. I like that opportunity for Harrell as well. So I'm sort of debating a couple 2v2s here, Covington and Jared Allen, as gross as that sounds, or Bogdanovich and Harrell or Plumlee. because I wanted that's specifically the lineup I'm trying to get Harden, Wood, and Jamal Murray while stacking Brooklyn and Memphis basically.
Yeah, look at the chat again. It looks like we just broke even because we cost that one guy $5K, but this Kyle says that we helped him take down the 100 single entry for $5K.
Beautiful.
So I think we're even now.
We're even. All right.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're paying the rake. We're definitely getting there.
I'm gonna answer a couple quick questions. Eric says, "Am I still on the Muscala?" I was never really that high on Muscala. He was a long shot pivot earlier in the day. I think it's on DraftKings you can make that play if you want to. I'm just not. I just didn't end up going there in the end. Pick my 5 teams to win tonight so you can place a parlay. Oh, okay. Sheets, you want to go take a quick shot at who wins each game tonight, or?
Yeah, but I mean, you know how I am. I'm very. I really feel there's like no edge in sports betting, so you're probably not going to get. You're not going to get some good advice out of me, I guess.
I'm from the guy who, like, every time he makes the prediction, he actually gets it right.
That's true. That's true.
So
you know who I like? I told you who I like. I liked the Timberwolves tomorrow against the Clippers.
Okay. Well, let's keep that in mind for tomorrow.
But I knew they'd have the letdown game. I didn't know they'd have a letdown like the next day against the Mavericks losing by 50. I mean that really wasn't quite what I had in mind for them. So okay, you want to do this? So okay. So what are the spreads?
Oh, okay. So the first spread we got Atlanta, Detroit. Atlanta's -11. I'll take Atlanta.
I have no opinion. Next one.
Memphis. I don't love that one either. I wouldn't love to bet. I don't love betting double-digit spread in the NBA. Memphis at Brooklyn. I don't understand how this can be accurate. This is really still a 3-point projected game, but I like Memphis easily if it's a 3-point spread.
Who's the spread? Who's the favorite? Memphis by 3?
By 3.
Yeah, I'll lean there.
Okay, and then we got the Jazz as a 9-point favorite at OKC.
Definitely the over.
I like the Jazz.
Definitely the over.
The over big time for sure. Well, that's the thing is we all think that the Jazz are this old, slow, great defensive team. This is not the same Jazz from a few years ago. I do think this, I'm looking at this here. I think this Bogdanovich play was a little better than I gave it credit for.
Which one?
Bojan on FanDuel. And maybe I'm talking myself into it because I'm really just playing him over Covington, which isn't that bad of a. I don't see it as a big compromise. So that's where I'm going there. And as much as this Harrell thing, I'm telling you, I got a feeling this pays off for somebody tonight, but I can't get him into my big buy-in lineups. I will, however, have him in my smaller buy-in lineups.
Who, Harrell?
Yeah, on FanDuel. I'm going to play until we get Lakers confirmation. I'm going to pretend that Marc Gasol and LeBron James are out tonight. I know that there's a chance they'll play, but you're telling me that 50-year-old Marc Gasol is going to be playing back-to-backs for the first time in forever on a team that's already they don't need to win regular season games.
Yeah, Jamie, I like Clarkson always on FanDuel and DraftKings. He's just always that guy who has good GPP upside literally every game. And in this particular game where there is the threat of a blowout, he's that guy that's he technically comes off the bench, so he might be left in if they take care of business midway through the third quarter. And if you get Clarkson, who just literally has no shame. I mean, that guy will shoot every time he touches the ball. You get him in a blowout run, man. That's like not as good as my MVP. Remember the other day, the Bobby Portis blowout run. He's the best.
Yeah, there's no one like him.
Nobody's like him.
And it only happens when he's like 1% owned. Never happens when he's like 40% owned.
Well, because when he's 40% owned, they're usually starting.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And that's not when you want him. You want him in blowout. So Eric Johns, you're saying, do I fade both LeVert and Harden? Is that too much? I'm going to answer that. Okay. And I have to admit that I do a terrible job of not emphasizing this as much. The answer is, and I don't want to be this guy, but it does depend. And when I say that, it depends on what type of tournament that you're playing. Okay. So LeVert and Harden are the best plays. I mean, I think that's, you could argue one way or the other, but I think those are two probably the best plays. But I do think that on a 5-game slate, if you're trying to win that, $15 tournament against 500,000 people or however many people are in that, I really do think you can fade them both. I mean, I almost think that you can't play them both in a way. I mean, I know, see, Bobby's really good. Bobby can play like the two chalk guys, and make two little differentiating moves and somehow have a unique lineup. I never get that. Like when I try to play the chalk and try to differentiate elsewhere, I end up being duped all over the place. I just assume just not play them both. And I would, look, I'll put you another way, Eric. If you're saying fade both LeVert and Harden, the question you have to ask is, okay, you're definitely going to get an ownership bonus by doing that. The question is, do you have a chance to make up those points, for that ownership? And I have to say, I mean, there are some upside dudes here. You know what I mean? Like between Trey and Lillard and Morant and just name it, man. Like Jokic. I mean, they're guys that could put up 70 fantasy points. You know what I mean? And I think that if you get that kind of ownership discount on guys like that, I think that you could fade them. Now again, in cash, I don't know if I would fade them. And in single entries, I think that, and this is my own opinion, is that maybe you shouldn't fade them both. But you can still fade one. Think about it this way: if you play on FanDuel and you fade Harden, you have a couple of good shooting guard options. You could play Shea and you could play those two value guys, and you could have Harden at 65% on FanDuel. And shit happens, man. I mean, guys over the course of the last 50 years have been trying to go into Denver, into that altitude and come up empty, you know what I mean? So It's very possible that Harden busts, So does it happen often? No, but you don't need to happen that often. That would be my evasive yet honest opinion on that question.
So let's reframe that a little bit differently, Sheets, too. I would say even this. So I would say James Harden, it's possible he could score 65 or 70, and now look, you'd want that guy, obviously, if you knew he was going to get 65 or 70. But I think there are routes you can win without him. Now, usually you want that on a bigger slate is when a guy's going to be so chalky, there's not as many plays. Right. But we have great options at point guards. We have 4 point guards that can go completely nuts and get us between 50 and 80 fantasy points. We really do.
Yep.
We've got the shooting guards who can 10x their value at the cheap price range. And then we've got the guys who can get us 50 plus at the 7K range. There's also a blowout risk here with a shorthanded Houston team. We only had 9 players basically, and really only like 5 real players against a really good Nuggets team that's pretty deep. So that's the route I would be looking at. Like, okay, so yes, if they're going to stay in the game, that's why if I play Harden, even though they're both going to be so popular, I am playing Wood where I'm playing Harden because that means that the game is at least reasonably close, and I like both of them.
So I'm gonna contradict that, and I'm also gonna make one other comment. So there was a guy that I talked about on the early show that we did, which I'm not going to play. I just wanted to explain why. I was talking about basically what Jack is describing, seeing a Denver blowout. So I came up with a couple of ideas, one of them being PJ Dozier from Denver as an idea of like who's going to profit from the blowout run. But then I thought about it in that I don't think I need that much leverage. In other words, if I'm going to like play the blowout angle, it's just going to be just fading Harden and Wood. You know what I mean? I don't need to get that cute. You know what I mean? And also try to guess right who is going to benefit in the blowout run. So I'm not going to play Dozier. I am going to play a decent amount of Barton though, probably, because he could do a little bit of both. And the other thing I will mention is that I am completely robbing this phrase from Jack in the chat. I'm totally going to pass it off as on my own. This got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's excellent. That is absolutely excellent.
He stole that one too. I love Jack. He's a great dude. We got this other guy who's mad at you because he tried to ask you why they call you Cheeks, which is not what we call you, obviously. But if we did call you Cheeks, I don't know what that would be about. But we call him Sheets. It's a horse racing thing. Should we just leave it at that, Sheets?
Yeah, it's good enough.
All right. All right. Let's talk about some other things real quick. Do you want to bring up your FanDuel real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let's bring up
take a quick look at
FanDuel.
I know it's a little hard to see, guys, but hopefully
it's really annoying because, something must be wrong with my computer because when I try to search for Harden, it's coming up as 0 returned entries, and I gotta get tech support here to work on that because there's no possible way that I could play all these lineups and not have a single share of Harden in this spot. But it's probably a computer issue. It can't be a DFS
issue. Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, like Harden and like you said, LeVert are awesome plays. I actually think LeVert's a much more difficult fade than Harden is personally. I could see that game getting really, really ugly, and also, who knows what happens with Harden exactly right. I mean, it's weirder things have happened. Maybe Christian Wood just takes the game completely over. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but anyway. We need a Nets starting lineup, by the way, because I need to figure out. Well, I like Prince. I'm just curious what they end up deciding to do. And the other piece of news that we need to know is about Sekou Doumbouya from the Pistons. They're getting like thinner and thinner by the minute. I'm not sure entirely how much it'll matter, but I think it gives a little bit of a with both he gone and no Okafor, Plumlee, Jeremy Grant, just a little bit higher of a boost, and then Josh Jackson, who I already loved, and by the way, is going to be lower owned than he should be on DraftKings on FanDuel. Josh Jackson, I have at the same ownership that I do Karis LeVert on FanDuel, and they're basically my small forwards almost everywhere. And I don't care if Josh Jackson's starting. In fact, I hope he's not, but he's going to probably start.
I really don't want to play him.
You don't want to play Josh Jackson?
I don't want to play him.
Okay, don't play him.
I know. This is America, right? Do I have to play him?
No, absolutely not. He's not. I'm telling you, he's less owned. He's lower owned on FanDuel.
Yeah, I have 8% of him on DraftKings.
Who are you playing? I feel like you gotta play somebody, Sheets. Come on.
I got 30% Gobert. I got 40% AD. I have 93% Cam Newton. Let's see.
40% Gobert, 30%. Yeah. Okay. Those all make sense to me. Let's get it. Guys, ask any QQs, players versus players.
Yeah, I got 50% Plumlee.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know. I put a full 20% Mitchell. That was good.
Doumbouya is playing. We got it from Kyle. Just put it in chat. I haven't got confirmation, but we're going to trust you, Kyle. Kyle Siciliani, good guy. Appreciate it. That different Kyle. Kyle once. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for the love. Appreciate you guys tuning in. PJ Tucker, Eric Johnson. That was my sneaky centered pay down at once. So I think that on FanDuel, especially if you're not risking an amount of money that you're uncomfortable with, I think that you absolutely can play PJ Tucker as a totally differentiating build at center. Look, even if he gets you just 25, you can still. There are so many ways you can get there with differentiating your build like that. So I'm into that. Damian Harris looks like is out, by the way. Sheets. We just got a question from Neat.
Thank God.
There's that one. So no Damian Harris tonight. Favorite value play on DK for NBA? Sheets. What kind of value? It's a little hard of a slate to say that with. Like, I like Jackson, obviously, as I mentioned, but you want the extreme value would be Taurean Prince for me.
You want to play somebody that can win the 100 million person thing? Play Theo Maledon from OKC at 3,100.
There you go. There's Sheets' answer. So. Meldon, I actually have him in one of my cheap lineups.
How many people do you know that have Meldon and Grayson Allen in the same lineup?
Just you, probably.
But that's what happens when I play other like chalky guys. You know what I mean? So let's.
No, that's great, but you're not playing the other chalky guys, so you're really differentiating. You're on a whole different level of differentiation.
I like, and I really got into Nurkic, by the way, again.
Yeah, I like him. I ended up my builds just led me different directions, but I still like him as well. I just didn't end up getting there. Jeff Green, Sheets, what are your thoughts?
I would have been really into him if what's his name? If Jordan were out or something like that. Because he could play some 5. Yeah, I guess he's fine. What is he? Another 3,200 guy?
He's 3,500. I think there's a chance he'll play alongside and instead of either of those guys because of the back-to-back. Yeah, obviously, because I actually had initially, like when we first did our video this morning, I said there's a chance this guy doesn't play. He has closed some games. I'm not loving the Jeff Green thing, but I certainly understand it. I'll get a few bits of exposure to him, I should say.
Yeah, I didn't. So someone asked, where did you see Harris ruled out?
Which Harris?
The guy from New England.
Oh, Damian Harris. I just got a message, I believe.
There it is. Inactive. Here it is. Right on the screen. Harris ankle is inactive for Monday night's game against the Bills. Got that? You got it, Mike? Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is. He has been, in fact, ruled out. So, by the way, guys, again, I'm not gonna have time to do this, but if you do play the football stuff, I played. I like what's his name? I like Michelle. In this, as will everybody else, but I do like Sony Michelle. Same
page. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's it. So I'm going to be back in time for the Laker game. So if in fact something funny happens where LeBron plays, I don't know if I could really change that much though, honestly, Does that have AD at the power forward? I probably would have to keep him unless I went down to say Covington or something like that.
I think the plan would be if you play LeBron, you have to try and find a way.
No, I'm not playing LeBron. I was saying if I play AD.
Oh, if you play AD, well, you can try to leave 200 and then switch to Lillard in the utility spot. That other than that, and even that, you don't need to do. It's not like AD can't score 67 fantasy points with LeBron, so I don't think it's necessary.
What do you think of? Yeah, I got to get rid of this Paul Millsap business.
Why? Maybe you're onto something with this guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it myself, but I can understand.
Yeah, I got you.
I've come a little bit off. I should mention. I still like DeLon Wright, okay, but I've seen him fail too many times, and the other guys brought it up, and I just started realizing he's failed plenty of times in these spots. To take him at mega chalk, I think we could find other routes. You don't need to play him everywhere, but I definitely have less of him than I planned to initially.
Oh, I know what I was going to say before when I said I was going to disagree with you. Yeah, I know, Mike. I'm just the worst. So you mentioned that Harden and Wood, you would play them together, whatever it is. I want to reiterate something I kind of brought up earlier, and is that on a 5-game slate, if you want to be different without playing bad players, right? One way you can be different is doing what might not make sense from a correlation perspective, and that is playing Harden without Wood or playing Wood without Harden.
Right.
Obviously I think it's optimal to play them together or neither. You're playing either they get, like either it's close or it isn't, that type of thing. But I do think that, that could be a way to be different. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike, man. I would never play Millsap. But you want to know why? I don't know. Like, for the same reason that I'm an idiot and I played freaking Eric Bledsoe a second time. Like, I played him one time where he was projected for all these minutes and he totally busted. And then he came back again. And the other day I had everything on my lineups were totally gold. And I played freaking Eric Bledsoe again because of this new idea that he was playing more minutes. And I think I wanted to give Millsap just like another shot to play some minutes and get there. It's only like 10%, whatever it is. Nah, dude, Jack, it's okay. They control. It's fine.
Not like this. If you start attacking me personally, like in physical appearance and shit, you'd say that
you said that, yeah.
Nothing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Bobby's very, very handsome, Mike. I don't know. I mean, dude, if you're gonna make a take like that, at least make it a good take. You want to insult me. I mean, you could say, dude, that Sheets is freaking fat with gray hair. I mean, you could say that. Then I'm like, that's not really nice, but at least there's certain truth to it. To say Bobby's a goon, that's pretty brutal, man. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, forget him. He'll be out of here. Well, he won't see us again soon anyway. He was just literally been trying to troll the whole time. It's you know what it is? It's these other guys, and they have their little trolls that they have with them. All right. Thoughts on Davis if LeBron sits out? I'm high on Davis anyway. I've got currently Davis in 2 of my big 3 lineups. In addition, in my max, in my other stuff, I have him about 60% on FanDuel, I believe, and I think I have him about 35-40% on DraftKings. I'm very happy.
You know what's cool with Jeremy Grant being traded to Detroit is I can play Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. together and not worry about it, even though they both look like they still have the Nuggets uniform. So the Nets lineup is out. So who's starting? Is Tyler Johnson?
I don't have the released lineup yet, so I'm still waiting on that one. Let's see.
Yes,
I don't understand what he's talking about. That Damian Harris was completely legit. That information.
Yeah, of course. Bledsoe is too apprehensive for me. That's a very nice way of saying it. Yeah. So the Nets lineup is out. So is Timothy? You're there, right? So tell me. So who's starting? Is Tyler?
I got it. It's LeVert, Harris, TLC, Prince, and Jordan.
TLC is starting. Okay.
Which I'm not surprised that TLC is starting. I sort of thought they would start Shamit instead. But that makes sense. Yeah, so that's what we're working with. Sorry, I'm trying to make some edits here. I think the guy who I feel the least comfortable with that I've got too much of on DraftKings is Harris. We had a question of priority spend ups. The priority spend ups Wood is a harder fade on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel, to answer that, Eric. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to try and take some chances. So I'm actually spending up on AD. And I'm playing Ja in about 60% of my lineups. I have 25% Shea and 25% Donovan Mitchell, trying to get a little bit different on a small slate.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm doing, they totally got me. As you guys may or may not know, I won pretty big on Yahoo the other day. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing some more over there. You know, why not?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
What I do there, I don't use the same. I don't really know where Yahoo projections are. So what I did, hey, because it worked last time, is I'm using my FanDuel projections to load into these Yahoo optimizer. So we'll see what happens.
Funny. One of the things I think, as I mentioned, I think that Wood is a tougher fade, although I'm still trying to do it on DraftKings. I think that LeVert is a better fade on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. Just my personal take. Even though there's a couple options, you could bet on Jeremy Grant and Jackson, sort of, equating to better plays, but I'm just not quite there myself personally.
You know what I think? I think the best take that you've given today so far is the freaking Grizzlies freaking just winning this game by a shitload.
It's possible. It does worry, but the thing about this Brooklyn team is we've seen this is like the team that's always had like 9 guys out. This is before KD and Kyrie were there, and yet somehow they always showed up. Like even in the bubble, they had nobody, and they were battling with teams. Like I don't know. They always sort of battled to me, so I'm giving them a chance. I do think I need to try and get a way to get Joe Harris out of any of my big buy-in lineups. I just don't feel right about it.
Joe Harris, huh?
Stupid. It just feels stupid to me. Like he's not getting a boost from this. He really isn't. He may maybe a slight boost in terms of number of shots to go around, but he's not a guy who creates or does much of that anyway. He's a guy who should actually benefit from playing with Kyrie and KD because he's going to get open looks at three. Maybe they give him a little bit of extra love this time, but I don't think it's as big a boost as it is like these other guys like LeVert, even Taurean Prince and guys like that. Taking a quick look at one other things. We had another little bit of notice. Yeah, man. Good idea, Jack. Thanks for the message, buddy. He's like, you got to block these guys who do that kind of shit. I will try and figure out a way to do that. Just kind of busy on this. Jack, thanks for tuning in again, by the way. But this guy, I don't understand what this. Okay, let me get rid of this sheets. I have to do this. It's getting a little too ridiculous.
What happened?
This guy's just completely on a completely troll nuts thing.
I can answer. So how many lineups do I have?
Oh, no. He's just trolling. He's just talking. Read through all the chat. He's just talking crap.
You sure he's not being sincere and looking for?
No, it's a Trump guy who's trying to be a whatever because he knows I didn't vote for Trump. Whatever. I don't care, guys. I don't want to talk about politics. That's why he's coming after me. I just looked at his thing and I'm absolutely 100% sure of it.
Yeah.
So we got to get guys like that out of there. I just can't deal with that kind of crap.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, Mike. I would have been, happy to.
What are you talking about? Don't be the nice
guy. Have you,
me. I'm the one who's
call Bobby a goon. That's pretty useful, and
Christ.
Yeah. Oh well. See you later. Neat. You go into my my YouTube channel. You could try to.
And what are you right now?
Try to get in there.
All right, guys. We do appreciate you tuning in. I do appreciate we've got a bunch of lineups to edit, and I'm kind of tired of the unnecessary, just whatever nonsense abuse from a guy who I can't even find. Oh, there it is. I see how his name is spelled. Okay, I'm getting rid of that guy. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in.
Good. And hey, Mike for president. Good luck tonight. Hope you take down all the money, and I hope I win back the $5K that I lost for that other guy. And that's all we got.
All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. Good luck.
Let me finish.